Thank you. Thank you very much, Pierre, for that eloquent introduction. And welcome, fellow Toastmasters. It is so good to see you again after this long week. And of course, we're in lockdown, so nothing could be more fun than that. Uh, I want to actually start out before I move any further by asking our grammarian, will you give us the word of the day today?
Certainly, Mr. Toastmaster. I am going to share my screen here and I will present the word of the day. Can you see it? Are you able to see a PowerPoint slide?
I do. I see it.
Perfect. So the word of the day is fortitude. The unshakable self-belief, the resiliency, the motivation, focus, and the ability to perform under pressure and to manage physical and emotional pain. Fortitude, the word of the day. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Karen, for that fortitudinal word. I'm going to see how many times I can throw another extra syllable on the end and see where that goes. There was one thing about being in hobbies or sports. If you want to be competitive in things like that, you have to have a lot of fortitude. One of my hobbies is playing guitar. Now, I'm not good at it, but I have a lot of fortitude and I don't give up, even though occasionally my thumbs have really almost been bleeding when I really got motivated. And as long as nobody's around, I actually sing, but only if nobody's around because I really don't want to hurt anybody. So let's keep it down a bit. Well, thank you, all of you, for being here. And I want all of you to talk tonight in your introductions. Please introduce yourself, where you are in the Pathways program, and talk about a little bit about your favorite sport or your favorite hobby. And I'm going to start beginning with our VP of Education, Dennis. Do you want to take the field?
Sure. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dennis OBrien. I'm the Vice President of Education for the Y Club. I'm also working on the Dynamic Leadership Pathway in the Toastmasters Pathway program. When I think about sports and hobbies, though, I immediately think about soccer because my stepdaughter plays soccer and my son plays soccer. I play soccer, and I even have coached my son in soccer. So soccer is kind of a big thing with our family. And it is such a great sport because it's so easy to play. I mean, you literally need a ball and a pair of running shoes, and you can get out on the field and have a game. So it is a really fun sport to play. And when I think about my past, I didn't play soccer for a very long time. I remember growing up when I was in about grade 5, grade 6, and every time we had a recess, we would go out in the field and we'd play soccer back and forth for, the whole time. And then I got away from soccer for a long time. I came back to it as an adult and I really enjoyed it. I just got on the field and it just felt so natural. So I really like soccer. I think it's just a great sport to play and really easy to get into. So thank you very much. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you very much. As a parent now, I think you have to have a great deal of fortitude to keep up taking the kids to all of the soccer classes and games and everything. So good on you. Neha, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself and your favorite hobby, sport, or pastime?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. My name's Neha. I'm the timer for today. I wish sleeping could be considered a hobby because my favorite pastime is napping or sleeping, but unfortunately it doesn't require the greatest amount of fortitude. So I'm like Mark and I really enjoy playing guitar. I'm also not very good at it. I'm not the most artistically or musically gifted person. So I find that it takes me a really long time to grasp musical concepts, but I've been working at it for about 7 years now, and I'm okay. I really enjoy playing it. It's a great way to de-stress, and yeah, I'm it's just like what Mark said. It's sometimes I'll keep playing until my fingers hurt, but it's still a lot of fun. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Neha. That is, sleeping. One of the greatest racehorses of all time was named Seabiscuit, and there was a movie about him. So I don't know if you saw it, but I believe his favorite pastime when he wasn't racing was sleeping. That's what eating and sleeping. That was his pastime. So you're in good company, champion company. Karen, would you please tell us your favorite hobby, pastime, or sport?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. My favorite pastime depends on the season it is. Right now, it is the spring season. So since January, I have been starting flower seeds and vegetable seeds. And I've had rows and rows and rows of 3 or 4 levels of little homes for my plants. On Mother's Day, I moved them outside and I am ready to plant them as soon as they get acclimatized to being outside. During the summer, I pick weeds. That's my hobby. During the fall and winter, I really like to read. So that would be my hobbies for the whole entire season. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Karen. It's interesting you should talk about reading, because when I was looking up what the most favorite hobby in the entire world is, it is reading as a pastime. So that's number 1. Would you introduce yourself, Christian? Talk about your path and what your favorite sport, hobby, or pastime is.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. My name is Christian Röhrig. Today I am our quiz master. Favorite sport is a very interesting question, because of most of my life, I never really liked sport. I liked hiking, I liked bicycling all the time, still like both of them, but I was never really very active in sport. I hate sport at school and I hate soccer. Sorry, I have to say this, Dennis, because I was never good at that. Coming from Germany, that's maybe a little bit embarrassing even. But a few years back, my wife brought me into martial arts, and that was a sport I really loved. And I did this for some years, and I really liked Taekwondo because it was a good workout, and I learned also some discipline. But for now, a few years, I skipped that as well, and wish I could go back, but I couldn't really find a school which fits my current busy schedule, unfortunately. But that was the only sport I ever really liked in my life. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Well, you can't do any worse than a martial art. I took a martial art for a while and still have an interest in it and work out a little bit, but nothing like when you're actually in a class or with other people. Mm-hmm. One thing about it is it's a sport where you're not really competing with other people. You're always just competing with yourself. That's the one thing about martial arts. It's really not about besting anyone, but just being the best you can. So it takes a lot of fortitude as well to carry on with it. So definitely, well done. And last, but certainly not least, Lionel, would you introduce yourself, where you are in Pathways, and what your favorite sport, pastime, or hobby is?
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. My name is Lionel Concha. I'm competent communicator. Right now, I'm working on the pathway persuasive influence. And about my favorite sport, it's in my country, we used to practice baseball, softball, basketball, and drinking highball. I don't know if highball is like a ball, but the thing that I really like is swimming. And I try to do a little strange, very difficult sport like hiking, climbing a very high mountain in Dominican Republic when I was young. And my father said, you won't do that because what have you lost in that mountain? And then I just choose the second most difficult, I mean, very, very difficult sport like chess. I think that's is a very good one. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.